Oh, hello, everybody. Hello. Shit, them Braves losing, bud. Morning, Andrew. How's everybody doing? We're doing a react stream, so you can't really charge for a face cam on a react stream. We're going to react to this. This is a video called Understanding South Carolina's Mind-Blowing Rural Poverty. And I just wanted, it's 31 minutes. We're not going to react to the whole thing. I just wanted to show the intro of this because I watched this video and I feel like a lot of people don't understand where I come from. No, it's not about poor shaming. I just want, like, this is more about getting people to understand like what South Carolina is as a whole. If you notice right here, South Carolina is the 7th poorest state in the union. It's not so much reacting to about what is actually is understanding, but it's more about like I want you to see like what living in South Carolina looks like. Because a lot of people have this impression of me like I live substandardly and that my house is like the poorest of the poor. I live pretty good, which is funny because Dirt Road Democrats is a derogatory term mainly for like African Americans. Like it's a catch-all, but it's really a racist term, right? Like this is coming from a person that's lived in South Carolina his whole life. It's also got a lot to do with like the southern states have lower education, means they're easier manipulated. It also means that they rely primarily on agriculture and factories, right? And as we know, most factories have packed up and moved to places like Mexico. They've moved to places like China where they can pay people $3 or sub $3 an hour and get the same product. Remember I said something the other day about the GM giving their factory in Salayo, Mexico, a raise from $3 to $3.25 to go with inflation. Well, gas is still $4 a gallon in Mexico, homeboy. Like, I've been to Mexico. Are there places that you can get, you know, a 2-bedroom house for like $80 a month? 100% there are. But those houses look like the houses we're seeing right here. They're not really great. A lot of these are Republican because they're easy to manipulate. The average income, which I make about $36,000 a year doing what I do here, and I fall on the upper echelon of the hierarchy. I'm not considered poor in South Carolina. I'm considered right around the middle class or top middle class, right? And between me and my wife makes, I don't know what she makes. I mean, she makes like $30,000-$40,000 a year too. So we probably bring in 70 or 80, possibly 90,000 a year, depending on what side projects. And so that puts us, you know, comfortably in the middle class in South Carolina. And me being I'm a liberal myself. I'm what you call an independent liberal. My wife is a Republican. To be poor, and I just don't understand this. It's segregation in its finest. Keep in mind, me and my wife just recently did a video in Florence, South Carolina, for Buc-ee's, which is this major gas station truck stop thing, right? It's one of the biggest gas stations you'll ever see in your fucking life. Like, one thing South Carolina does have a whole lot of is culture and people. Like the people in South Carolina, you know, even though I just got done ragging on how bad they are to each other, how they want to segregate and how they want to isolate and put labels on each other. South Carolina really is a very neighborly state. Like, it's a state where, like, if you break down at a gas station, somebody's going to help you. Don't let my speech talking about how, like, you know, like the term Dirt Road Democrats and stuff like that taint your image, because South Carolina is a very neighborly state. It's a very, like, a large portion of South Carolina's population is black. You think so, Slick. So you can tell that story somewhere else. Somebody asked a question in the chat. Iceman, is DoorDash in abundance there? I would say DoorDash is in abundance, but I live in a vacation spot. I live in Conway and I have very access to Myrtle Beach. So generally, like when I DoorDashed, I could go to like Carolina Forest, Myrtle Beach area, and Forest Brook, and go to the nicer areas of town where you're going to get a lot more DoorDash. There's a lot of no tippers in South Carolina though. And you have a town called Seneca, and you have Anderson, which sits outside of Clemson, which Anderson's like the meth capital of South Carolina. Greenville's a lot of drugs too.
1 out of every 3 members of the community lives below the poverty line here. That's almost triple the national average. The schools here are very much underfunded, even for South Carolina standards. There was a hospital in town years ago, but it closed its doors because a lot of people here didn't have insurance. A lot of the homes we'll see driving around Bennettsville are around $10,000. Can you imagine that? In today's America, buying a home with land for $10K?
You don't want to buy that home and land with $10K. First off, there's nothing in Bennettsville, South Carolina. When I mean nothing, I mean like there might be a McDonald's. McDonald's will be the job that you strive to have in Bennettsville. Most people in Bennettsville have to go out of town to get work.
Sure, it's super cheap here, but there's nothing to do for stimulation. You'd have to work from home. Many of the people along these streets do not have the ability to work from home.
And what this guy's not actually hitting on here, in South Carolina is currently under an epidemic of pain pills. It's called the opioid epidemic, and South Carolina is gotten destroyed by pain pills. Lots of doctors overprescribing stuff like Oxycontin, Dilaudid, morphine, and this takes a large share of what small money people do earn in South Carolina. We don't have any sewer system in South Carolina. Well, at least for the most part. So like sewer systems and like drains are only in the rich parts of town. We have things called septic tanks. Basically, it's like this big concrete box that is buried in your yard that your plumbing hooks to, and you poop and pee and goes into that, and then you have somebody come out and suck it out with a big truck. Let me go ahead and show what my house looks like, because like people are under the impression because I live in a modular home, and people will say, "Oh, it's a trailer. It's a trailer." You know, it's like that I live bad, man. Be loony toony with some of the things they ask for and price wise, and I share that from time to time. And the cars around here, we have no state inspection or anything like that, so like you see some crazy cars around here that shouldn't be on the road whatsoever, and people call it poor shaming. It's like it's hard to poor shame in South Carolina because most people in South Carolina are broke. I named my black Mustang Nicole. My red one was Ruby. My black one was Nicole. My current truck is called the Palmetto Rose. My old truck was Christine. Yeah, I got my septic tank's right here on this tree, but I own 1.1 acres here. This is on half acre. I have two lots. They're both residential. I have this lot and this lot, which are split up into two. The reason it's split up into two is because I used to have my grandmother had a single wide trailer like right here next to us that I paid for personally. I refinanced my home to buy her the trailer and put it there so she could live there rent free. It wasn't until like the air conditioner broke and she had to add another bill to her that she couldn't live on her own anymore. That's when she moved back in with me, and that's why grandma lived with me toward the end of her life until she got the point where like she needed extra care and she got on hospice, which hospice is a terrible thing. I don't know if anybody's ever had to deal with hospice, but hospice is people want to talk about death panels. Hospice is one of the worst things you can ever put somebody on. Like I made my wife promise me never to put me on a hospice because it's something that will, if you love somebody, it'll tear your heart out. Because hospice, they start taking you off your medicines and they stop feeding you and they basically kill you. It's like, how is this humane? Other than like, I would have rather them give my grandma like a syringe full of fentanyl than have to sit there watch her starve to death, because that's what you pretty much do. That is what hospice is, dude. This is where I paid off my house. I owed $1,771 and I paid it off in one go. Took $1,800 in and paid my house off. There's Bongo being fat and happy. Bongo boy. Hey Jordy, been a while, but I love the thumbnail. It seems like the trolls aren't getting to you much more, brother. The only time trolls get to me is when they do stuff that's frustrating, like getting team killed over and over again. Here's me and grandma toward the end of her life. Sometimes like when my mama needed to go to the doctor or had to run errands, I'd go sit with grandma because she weren't allowed to be by herself. Here's grandma and Daisy. Zeus, for the love of brother, do you miss the old Silverado? I do. Be honest, I owned that truck for 18 years and it was like part of the family. I actually cried when I sold it. This is when I threw away my old chair. I had that chair right there. As you can see, it's got like a different base because the base broke on it, but I changed it. But I had that chair from like 2006 to like 2017 or some shit like that. Like all the old COD commentaries were made in that chair right there.
Old boy, drunk off his fucking ass.
Drunk in the wild.
Is probably older than his first baby mama. I'm almost tempted to follow him just to see where he goes.
This guy's drunk as hell.
Keep in mind, we're going 25 and a 50 right now. Look at this.
I'm not holding the camera, but Kelly is.
One brake light's out.
One brake light is out. Alright, you can stop recording.
Camera's on.
So you blame me for shaky camera. You blame me for a messy car.
They ain't blame. I'm pointing out messy car.
Like, continue on. You realize I can still hear you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is how we get down when we used to DoorDash. You used to watch the baseball game while waiting on orders. He goes, "Hey, fat man. The rest of the mods and I just finished plowing that whore of a wife of yours and decided you can watch the gangbangs now while you eat your Wendy's chili. Speaking of, here's some of that shit that you love. Anyways, love you, Wingo. Stay fat." And shout out to Sean Ranklin. Big ups, Liquid Richard, and have a good day. From the Pepsi Pimp. Oh, the Twitch? 10-year partner, take it away without telling me why. Thank you. By the way, I got my package. This is my package for being a partner for 10 years. Oh, when you're selling sporting bet picks and pretend you're making millions off your picks, best to hide the fact you rented the Lambo and hide the paper key tag on it. See, this is the Lambo key, and he still has the tag from where he rented it at. Expert brake service, but it actually shows a clutch for a transmission on the picture. This is when the trolls were trying to get my Twitch banned. Like, this was actually a picture of Final Fantasy Tactics poster, and they claimed that it was copyright and shit. This is when I got banned off DoorDash. Right after I lost my Twitch partnership. This is somebody sent me a bunch of Pepsi. This is when they took my PlayStation account for the first time. There's really no point of streaming other than to kill time. Like, that's the whole point of it, is to kill time. The point of this is to follow my Twitter, motherfucker. But like being a fat motherfucker like I am, and looking like the Michelin man's illegitimate child, you know, trucks just fit me better. Look at, they get accused of stealing ketchup in this house. You see this?
Mine's the one that's no sugar. And
Was it a little bottle?
yeah.
I used it one time. I don't know what I did with it.
Wondered why I tasted right.
I didn't taste the difference, honestly. Calenzo!
Who made me gain my weight back?
You gonna gain your weight back because I don't get your coach purse, huh?
Yep.
Y'all see this extortion?
Because you're not sticking to what you said.
If for nothing else, that when my truck hits your go-kart, I survive and you don't. How's that a threat? That's just pointing out the obvious. 150-pound go-kart, 5,000-pound truck. One can go like 25 miles an hour, one can go 100. Why did I start drinking soda again? Mixture of stress, anxiety, just wanting to. It's something that calms my nerves. No, Andrew, I can't do any drugs. Even if I wanted to do drugs, all that would result is trolls calling the cops on me. Think about what you're saying. Every time you ask me to do something, remember that everything I do goes under great scrutiny. What's the biggest dump you've ever took? Nobody keeps records of that. It's just the thing, man. Like, there's so many people that want me to fail, which I understand. I'm never going to be a success from all the stupid shit I said on PKA. Because at some point, you're just an asshole. Like, remember, like yesterday when that kid was telling them he didn't want to team kill somebody, and then they started attacking him. It's a really good look, but you won't see videos made about that, right? Because they like to sit in this realm of like ambiguity. When I said like, yo, crypto is a fucking gamble, and people got mad at me when I said crypto's gambling. Like, all the fucking kids started chirping on me like birds. They're like, you just don't know what you're talking about. How can you not know? You know, I make this much money on crypto. Like, here's the fact. People, even if something is a scam, like multi-level marketing, like Avon and places like Mary Kay and shit like that, which are these big fancy pyramid schemes that somehow skirt the edge of like what's legal and what's not. Even places like those, you'll have people in there that are successful. Every now and then you'll see that pink Cadillac, which is like a Mary Kay top sales. That just means they're higher in the pyramid than you. Pyramid schemes are designed to prey on the bottom. and you don't want to be on the bottom. So like just like cryptocurrencies, right, or blockchain in general. Somebody out there made a lot of money on Dogecoin. You know who's not making money on Dogecoin right now? Anybody who has it. The thousands, maybe the hundreds of thousands of people that invested in Dogecoin, there might have been maybe 30 people that actually made success out of it. Like, all this shit's fake. You guys ever see that guy that has like these fitness commercials, or at least he used to have these fitness commercials on YouTube, where it's like Hollywood actors like Hugh Jackman, they don't get ripped and lose tons of weight for a film in short time when they have access to all these Hollywood trainers and stuff. Gyms are all, they want to make you feel like there's an easier method when there's not. Like weight loss and like physical training, it's $1 billion industry. And if there was like a method out there that would get results as fast as this guy claims there would be, everybody would be doing it. Right? That's just the thing. Everybody would be doing it. Most things are a lie.